How was your day? Did you have a good day? Did you have a lovely day?
I did.
Good.
I did. What about you?
I'm doing great. For now, after these picks come through, who knows how I'll be doing on Sunday. And we're live. Howdy there, true believers. Welcome back to New World Nerds. I'm Superman Nico. And with me, my guest at this time is...
Jak-Attack! Yo, what's up?
There she is, our resident wrestling expert, here to help me make some Elimination Chamber predictions. We are live currently. Justin, you're monitoring the chat. He's there somewhere. So, this is, I guess, a spin-off of the New World Wrestling podcast. This is the whole reason we're making predictions is for the New World Wrestling Championship belt. I won when we did the Raw Rumble predictions. I beat Andy. He's the worst. I'm the best. He already made his predictions on their channel at Nerd Crew. Go ahead and follow them. Their link is in the description. It actually is right now. I did it beforehand. Haha. But yeah, and joining the fray, a new fighter approaches. It's Jak-Attack.
What's up, everyone?
Any thoughts on this week in WWE before we get started?
3 words: slay the beast.
that was really good. I know it doesn't make a ton of sense, like
storyline.
Yeah, storyline wise, but it's like. They're brothers. They're going to fight. And then he's going to be like, yeah, I don't like you, but I hate Brock Lesnar. So,
I completely agree.
It's all great. I mean, they're friends in real life. Just let them be friends.
I know. Why can't we all be friends, guys?
So, I was going to say let's not do the pre-show, but we're going to do the pre-show anyways. So, let's start off with the Cruiserweight Championship. It should not be in the pre-show. If any match deserved to be on this pre-show, it's Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman for the gajillionth time.
I completely agree. It's like a repetition of Raw times like 10 now.
Yes, for sure.
Basically, they've already outplayed the scenario in this match. It's way too overdrawn. For
sure. And the Cruiserweight belt is obviously inspired. It takes a little inspiration from our belt, obviously. I meant to get purple the whole time. I definitely wasn't going there getting the traditional belt. I don't know what you're talking about. But we got Buddy Murphy versus, I don't even remember his name.
Akira Tozawa.
That's the dude. They always put on a great show. I don't think this will be any different. But I'm going to go with Buddy Murphy retaining. What says you?
I agree. I think Buddy Murphy's going to retain. I think they're going to give him a really big push to WrestleMania, and then we'll see who actually comes to the challenge. Because, to be honest, ever since he's gotten to the Cruiserweight division, he's really, stepped up his game.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, before, if you look at him, he was an NXT Tag Team Champion with Blake, and, they were good, but he didn't get to showcase a lot of his skill set like the way he does in the Cruiserweight division. So he for sure has some really crazy stunts that he pulls, and so I think he really does well. He's a really good champion overall. Like, I'm pleased with it. So I think they're gonna at least carry him on that wave to WrestleMania, and then we'll see where he goes from there.
Yeah, for sure. I like his finisher. It's really crazy. Every time I see it, it always surprises me.
It actually legitimately looks painful.
I think that Buddy Murphy is one of those guys that seems to have really shined in 205 Live since Triple H took over the reins. Definitely seems to be one of his guys. So yeah, it seems pretty unanimous. Andy picked Buddy Murphy as well. All right, we're going into the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. This one I've kind of flip-flopped on. I originally thought something, now I think the other one. Jackie, I'm going to let you give your picks first.
All right, I think that The Miz and Shane McMahon are going to retain, and I'm going to kind of air the sentiments of what I was saying with the Cruiserweight division, where they're going to ride that wave to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this stuff is like, this is kind of filler until we get to WrestleMania.
Exactly,
but
filler, that's what it is.
I think it is, but darn it, I hope it's entertaining filler. You know, there's a difference between like making one-off storylines that don't really mean anything and to making a whole storyline that makes sense and is building rather than filling. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Like you could have a situation where I think it was about a year or so ago when Rich Swann, they paired him and Sasha Banks on the pre-show to fight Alicia Fox, and I forget who it was that she was paired with. I think it was Noam Dar, and so it was them for doing a mixed tag, which they only did about maybe like a week's worth of building because they literally threw Sasha Banks in like a week before the match was supposed to take place. So like that like lacked so much build. So that's like a perfect example of what not to do. So.
Yes. So in this tag team match, Miz versus the Usos, the greatest tag team in the world versus the actual greatest tag team in the world, the Usos. Originally, I was leaning towards the Usos. I was like, I think the Usos deserve the WrestleMania moment to go into WrestleMania as the champs and to retain, because they barely got on the card last year. But I since went and changed my mind because maybe of some other stuff that happened to Jimmy over the weekend. Or during the week. We're not gonna shed any light on that. You can go ahead and Google that. We're not here to spread rumors or anything like that. Definitely love the Usos, but I'm gonna go with Miz and Shane. All right, so next up on the docket, we got the Intercontinental Championship on the line. I really wanted this to be defended in the Elimination Chamber, but I guess they've spread themselves too thin, too many Elimination Chamber matches already. I'm very excited for both of them, but for now we got Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in a handicap match versus Finn Balor. I love Finn Balor. I think we all do, but I am going to do the same thing I did with the Royal Rumble, taking my heart out of this one. I think we're going to wait all the way until WrestleMania, maybe even Fastlane, to put the belt on Finn Balor. So I think Bobby Lashley retains. Lio Rush is going to distract Finn. Something's going to happen. I pick Bobby Lashley retaining in some heelish fashion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Bobby will retain in, like you said, a heelish fashion. However, I think he'll retain the championship on a disqualification. I think what they're going to do is, in order to build on that story, is have some type of ending where Finn gets screwed. So I'm erring on the side of more of like an actual DQ result where Finn wins the match, but he can't get the belt since the title can't change hands. So I'll say Finn wins by DQ, but Bobby still retains the IC championship. And they'll push him more and develop the story more towards WrestleMania. Cool.
I like that. That's a very specific storyline, and I really like it. Because it's still different than both of our picks, mine and Andy's. All right, so we got the next one on the docket is the least interesting match on the whole card, I would say. Baron Corbin versus Braun Strowman. What do you got?
Braun's going to win. I don't see any way of Baron Corbin actually retaining. Like we said in the beginning, it's just way too drawn out and repetitive, and it's just going to be one of those, it's a filler match, but there's a lack of a build, and the fact that Braun is actually, touted as like the monster among men, there's no way he should actually like lose. So I'm going to pick Braun.
Yes, and I hate to have too many. Oh god, there it goes again. Hold up. What's it? All right, we're back. I hate to have too many of the same picks, but I just can't. Like, I want to say Baron Corbin because Drew McIntyre will interfere, but then I think Kurt Angle will even the odds. Maybe Dolph Ziggler jumps into the mix. I think he ended up eliminating Drew in the Rumble. They still have that storyline to pay off, so I think it just airs on the side of Braun Strowman. I'm going with Braun. I did think about it, but I just, for how little I want to see Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman again, I just can't have Baron Corbin going over because that means we'd see yet another one at least at Fastlane, at least at Monday Night Raw, which I do not want anymore. Let's get over it. Let's stop doing it.
Exactly.
On my notes it says don't care, should be on pre-show, and also why is Baron Corbin still in his general manager getup? Stop it.
Yep.
Get some help. Get
keep the buzz cut, but go back to the lone wolf persona.
Go back to the lone wolf, please. And then we got the least talked about match, not just by the fans, but by WWE itself. They announced this match on Twitter. Didn't even talk about it on Raw, or barely did. They talked about it more on SmackDown than they did Raw. We got Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey. Everyone's freaking out that Charlotte Flair is replaced Becky, but what if Ruby Riott wins on Sunday? No one's talking about that. Let's go. What do you think is gonna happen in this Raw Women's Raw Women's Championship?
It's gonna be Ronda retaining. They're gonna somehow or some way she's going to get her match with Becky at WrestleMania. I haven't quite figured it out 100% yet, but she's gonna win again. It's a filler match, so.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue with that at all. It doesn't make any sense. Because even if I can't see Ronda's first actual singles loss coming until WrestleMania. In no world do I see Ruby Riott winning the title. Not to say that she's not talented. She is very talented, very underappreciated on WWE. I think she could be a main eventer someday. Just we're not there yet. We all want to see Ronda, Becky, Charlotte. I think the only reason that Charlotte, well, not the only reason Charlotte's in there, but we needed a true heel, and I believe that Charlotte Flair will be that, because there are still a lot of Ronda Rousey fans, and she hasn't done anything yet to be a heel. The only thing she's done to be a heel is not be Becky Lynch. Everybody just loves Becky Lynch. She's so over that anybody she steps in the ring with is a heel. Like, doesn't matter what you say, Steph, doesn't matter what you say, Triple H, you are a heel right now. You're on the other side of Becky Lynch.
Right, no, and I think it's funny because I like that you brought that up, how it's hard for them to make her a heel, because the one true moment they actually did that was whenever they had the ladder match for the championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, when Becky held the title. And, of course, it's that scene where Becky and Charlotte are on the ladder, and then Ronda just goes and pushes them because she was tired of both of them, trying to get at her in different ways. Therefore, Asuka winning the championship. And so it's funny because at that point you would think, like, okay, maybe she's going to be a heel. But then when she tried to, like, that following Raw, like, explain the situation, like, I'm sorry, like, her promo just did not cut it, so I think they just had to scrap the heel thing, and we're like, okay, let's just keep the momentum going on where she was before. So they, like, totally scrapped that. So they definitely misplaced, how she was supposed to be a heel. So it only makes sense, like you said, to throw in Charlotte there, because, to be honest, she's probably one of the better heels in the company, not just the women's division, but in the company.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just getting some chats in here. It's 7:10. You're late. My mom says hello. She said I'm gonna lose the belt, which is not gonna happen. Nerd Crew said, "What's up? Don't worry, you won't have it much longer." The guy from NXT, "What's up, fam? Purple Gang, what's up? Is that why Jackie was Finn Balor?" I guess I don't know.
Oh, when I dressed up as him for Halloween.
I guess so. We talked about Ruby Riott and how it's a nothing match. I think it could still be a decent match. I'm not saying, like, they're two very talented performers, so we shall see. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick Ronda Rousey as well. All right. I don't know which Elimination Chamber match do you think they're gonna go with to close out the show?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I think if they want to go with pleasing the fans and getting momentum, it might be easier to do the women's tag team championship, because it's a history-making moment and it's going to be a big first. So if you want to end on a good high note and not just, like, take a gamble on whether the match is going to be good or not, you go for the tag team division. However, I can see them putting the men as the main event, because that's typically what they've done. Yeah. So it just depends on what their mood is, because, I mean, if you go back to the Royal Rumble 2018, the women were not supposed to main event, and if you watch the WWE 24 special, which is on the WWE Network,
for $9.99,
exactly, it shows on that day they were told that they were main eventing, switched them. They were supposed to be before the men, but they switched them that morning. So I can't really say 100%. I think if it were me choosing, I would definitely put the women as last. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I typically they usually like one opens and one closes like they did for the Royal Rumble last year.
Right.
But I'm very excited to see. I'm equally excited, I think, to see both of these matches. To crown, I think the history thing, and also you can get a feel for WrestleMania. Hey, let's have them main event Elimination Chamber, and then if that does well, let's have them headline WrestleMania. Becky,
right.
Ronda, Charlotte. But I mean, they're not the same wrestlers. I'm trying to think as Vince McMahon, and so it'd be like, oh, women, you throw them all in one segment, it's fine. I'm excited for both of these Elimination Chamber matches. We'll go ahead and do the men's Elimination Chamber match first.
Okay.
The only thing I see, this could go so many ways. I think I'd be fine with like pretty much anybody in this match winning. I think SmackDown is filled to the brim with talent, and I think they do a much better job of utilizing the talent week in and week out.
Most definitely.
I mean, they're both brands are stacked with talent, and somehow SmackDown with an hour less of runtime can still utilize talent better than Monday Night Raw. So I would be fine with anybody winning, but I'm going to go ahead and say Daniel Bryan retains. I don't think he'll lose it until WrestleMania. If he does lose it at WrestleMania, I think he can start a lot of feuds here, a lot of feuds that could last and culminate into WrestleMania. I'm very much impressed with Kofi Kingston. He definitely deserves it at some point. I don't think now is the time, just because WrestleMania season and stuff like that. I would definitely love the summer of a New Day champ. I think that would be great. I think he should definitely take either one of those guys from New Day could have a world title. I'd be pleased. I think it's going to be a great match in the men's Elimination Chamber. I'm going to go ahead and say Daniel Bryan. Jackie, who you got?
I'm picking Daniel Bryan as well. I'm picking it more so in the sense that I think he's going to carry the way through WrestleMania. And then from there, we're going to see a new feud spread at WrestleMania. Whether he retains or not, it just depends on who they put up to the challenge. But I mean, you got AJ Styles. I'm sorry, you got Randy Orton, you got Kofi Kingston in there, and those are two names that have been with the company for a very long time. Randy knows how to carry a title very well. He knows how to carry a storyline very well. He knows how to have good chemistry with whoever he works in the ring with. It doesn't matter who it is. And Kofi, he's one of those that he's just charismatic all over, so it doesn't matter who you put him in the ring with. You're going to enjoy a match when you see him in it. And so I think another good thing to note is how you talked about how he's definitely getting a push, and maybe he needs to wait that off until the summer, and I think that's a good idea. I think maybe the reason why they're giving him a run is because maybe they want to try and do something similar to where they have the faction brought up. Now that Dean Ambrose is leaving, they don't have a really strong faction like the Shield to stand anymore. And the New Day's been there, and they've been one of the few groups that's actually maintained their consistency throughout throughout their tenure as a group. So I definitely think like they're giving him the big push to maybe set up another like Shield type situation. So definitely him getting that big push is good. He'll probably, like you said, in the summer. I agree with that, and then we'll see where they go with Big E and Xavier Woods from there. So, yeah, but definitely there's a lot of good people in the match, and there's a lot of good spots that I'm looking forward to see. So
yeah, definitely. Like Kofi Kingston is a spot machine. So is Jeff Hardy. Like someone's getting RKO'd from atop of a chamber down into the mat. Like that's just happening. It's most likely
Jeff Hardy, if we're gonna be honest. Yeah, it's Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, as a dark horse thing. I think maybe Harper will come out from the bottom Undertaker style and help Daniel Bryan retain. There'd be like, oh, Eric Rowan's out there, but oh wait, Randy or Samoa Joe just choked him out in the Coquina Clutch. What's gonna happen? Daniel Bryan's all by himself. Eric Rowan comes out from under, or Harper comes out from underneath, does something, freaking choke slams Kofi Kingston, and Daniel Bryan retains. Like, I think that's probably...
Maybe he'll become, like, the leader of, like, the new version of the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
But we haven't had Bray come around.
An eco-friendly Wyatt family. We're the Bryant family, okay? Yeah, I think that would be really cool. And we're not just a family; they're friends and they're intellectual peers. Just like Daniel Bryan says. All right, so we got the last match on the docket. We're saying it's the main event. Hopefully, it is the main event. The women's Elimination Chamber tag team match, first ever women's tag team. I like how they're doing it on both brands. I think that makes it like a bigger deal to have it on. Both brands are vying for this, kind of like the Money in the Bank. You know, when they have both brands going for it. I really like that. And I really like it when I love how all the pay-per-views are dual branded now. Because, like, when it would just be, like, just SmackDown, it kind of felt a little lame. Like, or when it's just, like, Raw, when I don't like any of the Raw storylines, you know. I'm like, why am I I don't care about this. I want to see freaking Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio and Andrade aren't on the card. I'll get mad about that later. They're
That'll
great.
be another discussion.
Yeah, they're great, and they should definitely be in the Elimination Chamber match as well. I don't know. Don't take anybody out. Just put them in and make it a big old schmoz. Exactly. Competitors. Oh, hey, look, we got some predictions in the comments. How are you doing? My predictions are Finn Balor, Buddy Murphy, Miz and Shane, Ronda Rousey, Braun Strowman, Daniel Bryan, and Sasha and Bayley. Fortune for shooters. Thank you so much, Fortune, for coming in and giving us your predictions. So for the first, for the first ever women's tag team champions, I'm going to go ahead and say the Boss and Hug Connection. Starting in from the number one spot, Sasha battling a shoulder injury, defying the odds. Their arms are getting raised. Some of the few people that have actually been in the Elimination Chamber before from last year. Yes, Boss and Hug, Sasha and Bayley are going to win, and they'll have a long tag team title reign until they break up and have an epic match at WrestleMania and actually do the breakup and stuff like that. Jackie, who you got?
I can't wait for them to feud, honestly. It's been long overdue. But I'm actually going to take a different perspective. So, as much as I do not really favor this tag team per se, I have to pick the Iconics, and the reason why I have to pick them is because to be honest, at least in the modern day women's evolution, they've been the standout tag team figure. They've always been branded as a duo, hence the Iconics name. And so knowing Triple H and the hand he plays, and having the NXT superstars thrive, at least when they first get on. Like, you see, Becky Lynch was the first SmackDown women's pick. Alexa Bliss beat Becky for the SmackDown women's title and got her own celebration. And then she ended up going on a run for having 5 championships. You look at everything Charlotte's done, like people like that. And then recently with the Revival, how they just won the Raw Tag Team titles.
Yeah.
I think he's going to give them a nod by getting them to win. I don't think they're going to showcase the best of their abilities in order to win. They're going to win in some, convoluted way.
Heelish way.
Somebody goes to attack, Nia and Tamina will probably be there, bodyguarding it up, and they're just gonna have a spot where they get the wrong person, like Sasha and Bayley, and the Iconics are just gonna go in and sweep and steal, and they'll ride it to WrestleMania. And then if Sasha and Bayley are still together by that time, then they'll probably take the titles from them at WrestleMania. That's how I see it.
I really like that. If it were up to me, if I was the one booking it, it would either be Fire and Desire or the Iconics. The Iconics, I would love to do that because I think that they need the belt because, like you're saying, they're the only ones that are an actual tag team. They're called the Iconics. When they put the graphic up on Tuesday on SmackDown, they listed everybody's names, and then when they're in the chamber for the Iconics, they just put the Iconics. They didn't put Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. They put the Iconics. They are an actual tag team. I would love for the belt to go on them. The only thing is, when you're displaying a brand new belt, and this is the only reason why I wouldn't, because they haven't booked them well beforehand. So you don't want to put a new belt on somebody who's unproven to the casual audience, and you don't want to lessen that belt or whatever. I don't think they would be doing that. That's just maybe I'm just thinking as like Vince, like, oh, it has to be the big deal. Like you're putting the first time ever. You can never change that, you know. So I think they're gonna go with tried and true superstars, Bayley and Sasha. I would either put it on Fire and Desire or the Iconics for sure. And Andy's big thing is like the Boss and Hug Connection are going to be winning it at the show of shows in April. I definitely see that happening as well. But the first ever, I'm going to go ahead and say Sasha and Bayley. I think they're bona fide stars, and I think they deserve an accolade such as this. Nerd Crew said, I almost picked the Iconics, and Gump said, but great job. Any final thoughts? Any crazy theories for Sunday?
Let's see. They're gonna probably get a storyline from the Elimination Chamber so that way they can feed it to WrestleMania. But I'm wondering who they're gonna do because they've already done Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do like a Jeff Hardy Samoa Joe type thing from there, you know, because they gotta have some spots where they can start a new feud so that way they can have a match. Because I mean, they did that before with was it AJ Styles and Shane McMahon, where they were involved in some sort of matchup, and then there was, you know, a misunderstanding where they were basically being pit against each other, and then like stuff happens. So then they developed that into a match for WrestleMania, and it turned out great. It was a really good match.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're gonna try and plant the seeds there. I don't know who yet, but maybe Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy. I would be interested to see that. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Randy Orton and AJ Styles. I think is that's a WrestleMania match that doesn't need a title. I think it's just you'll see two great workers in there. Besides that, I'm not really sure. I think it depends who, what happens at Fastlane depends if anybody's making a debut before then or anything like that. So like if Matt Hardy comes back or if Bray Wyatt returns to TV before then, I can see them saving all of that for after WrestleMania. But maybe somebody's waiting on an Undertaker match. Who knows? But all right, so I think me and you have a few different picks. I think the what it's going to come down to for everybody, because we all pick different people for the women's tag team Elimination Chamber. So I think that's what it's going to come down to who gets the belt, is the Elimination Chamber match. I do not want to give up this belt. This is a beautiful belt. It is mine. I am the champion, but I love to put it on the line against Andy and Jackie. So we don't know what the punishment is yet. We'll figure that out. We'll put a poll on Twitter or something like that. But I don't have to worry about that because I'm retaining this bad boy. I'm taking it all the way to the show of shows. I'm taking it all the way to April to WrestleMania. I am the inaugural New World Wrestling Champ, and it ain't coming off my shoulder anytime soon. Jackie, thank you so much for coming in here. Andy, you're going down. Thank you so much for making a video over there on your channel. Jackie, any final thoughts? Anything you want to say to the true believers out there?
To all you true believers out there, just remember, you don't have to be a dude to like wrestling.
There you go. Perfect. You don't. I'm going to end it on one comment. It says, my wrestling name is Throbbin' Robin. Pretty good stuff. Throbbin' Hood steals from the rich to help the erect. Thank you very much, Gump. What would our streams be without you? That's all we got for you today, folks. Keep an eye out there, true believers. We're out of here.